In a small town stood an old mansion that had long attracted the attention of the locals. They said the house was cursed and haunted by ghosts. No one dared to approach this house after sunset, as strange lights could be seen from its windows and frightening sounds could be heard. It was said that many years ago a terrible murder had taken place in this house, and the souls of the murdered still could not find peace. The story began with a wealthy landowner, the owner of the mansion, named Viktor Alexandrovich, who lived there with his family. His wife Anna was known for her beauty and kindness, and their children, Maria and Peter, were the joy and pride of their parents. But one night, something terrible happened. Unknown assailants broke into the house, killed all its inhabitants, and set it on fire. Since then, the house had stood empty, and the locals avoided it. A young researcher named Alexei, who was fascinated by studying paranormal phenomena, learned about this story and decided to conduct his own investigation. He wanted to prove that ghosts really existed. Alexei arrived in the town and began gathering information about the old mansion. He talked to the locals, read old newspapers, and looked through archival documents. Everyone told him the same thing. The house was cursed and it was better to stay away from it. But Alexei was persistent and did not believe in superstitions. One night he decided to go to the mansion and spend the night there. He brought cameras, voice recorders, and other equipment to record any strange phenomena. Entering the house, he felt a chill that went down to his bones, even though it was warm outside. Alexei set up his equipment and began to wait. Soon he heard a faint whisper that grew louder. He pointed his camera toward the sound and saw a shadow slowly moving along the walls. Alexei was not afraid and continued to observe. The shadow approached him and disappeared. Then he heard crying coming from a distant corner of the room. Alexei went there and saw the ghost of a woman. She looked sad and clearly wanted to say something. Alexei asked her who she was and what had happened. The ghost of the woman began to tell her story. It was Anna, Viktor Alexandrovich's wife. She recounted how their house had been attacked, how she tried to protect her children but couldn't. Her soul could not find peace because the murderers had never been found. Alexei decided to help the ghosts. He started an investigation to find out who was behind this terrible crime. He found old police reports and realized that the murder had been carefully planned. Viktor Alexandrovich had many enemies, and one of them decided to get rid of him and his entire family. Alexei found the descendants of the people who could have been involved in the murder. He met with them and learned many interesting things. Some of them didn't even know what had happened many years ago. Alexei was able to convince them to help him in his investigation. After long searches and many obstacles, Alexei found a key piece of evidence that could point to the real criminals. It was an old diary of one of Viktor Alexandrovich's servants, describing those terrible events. It turned out that one of Viktor's closest friends was the one who organized the crime. He wanted to gain Viktor's wealth and get rid of him. Alexei handed all the evidence to the police, and the case was reopened. The descendants of the criminals were arrested, and justice was served. The ghosts of Anna, Viktor, and their children finally found peace. Alexei returned to the old mansion to say goodbye to them. He entered the house and felt a warm light fill the rooms. The ghosts thanked him for his help and disappeared. Alexei realized that he had done something important and had been able to help these souls find peace. Since then, the mansion no longer seemed ominous. People began to return, and the house came to life again. Alexei continued his research on paranormal phenomena, but this story remained forever in his memory. He understood that sometimes ghosts need our help to find peace and move on to another world.